Imagine a country trying to sell national defense like a Netflix subscription. If you don't pay, the army simply doesn't protect you. Sounds ridiculous, right? But this strange idea actually highlights a serious economic question. Can markets really provide every good in society? Welcome back to Econ Unlocked. In this lesson, we're going to explore public goods and merit goods, two important concepts that explain why governments sometimes have to step in when markets fail. So far in this course, we've mostly talked about how markets allocate resources through supply and demand. And for many goods, markets work really well. If you want a sandwich, a phone, or a pair of shoes, firms compete to sell them to you. But some goods create much deeper problems for markets. Some goods can't really be sold at all, while others are consumed less than society would really ideally want. These situations are examples of market failure. And two of the most important examples economists study are public goods and merit goods. Let's start with public goods. Economists define public goods using two key characteristics. The first is non-rivalry. That means if one person uses the good, it doesn't reduce how much is available for others. For example, if one person benefits from national defense, that doesn't reduce protection for anyone else. The second characteristic is non-excludability. This means the good exists, it's very difficult to stop people from using it. If a country builds a missile defense system, you can't really exclude certain citizens from benefiting. These two characteristics together make public goods very difficult for normal markets to provide. Now, this leads to one of the most famous problems in economics, the free rider problem. Imagine a company trying to provide street lighting in a city. They ask people to pay for it. But some people might say, why should I pay? The light will still be there even if I don't. So they free ride on other people's payments. But if everyone thinks like this, nobody pays. And if nobody pays, the company can't afford to provide the service. This is why public goods are usually funded through taxation and government provision rather than private markets. Now let's look at merit goods, a slightly different concept. A merit good is a good that society believes people should consume more than they currently do in a free market. In other words, markets provide the good, but not enough of it. Why does this happen? Sometimes people don't have enough information. Sometimes they focus too much on short-term costs. And sometimes behavioral biases affect how people make decisions. Because of these factors, people may underestimate the true benefits of a certain good. Now, some of the most common examples include education, healthcare, vaccination, and public transport. These goods often create positive externalities. That means their benefits extend beyond the person who directly consumes them. For example, when someone gets vaccinated, they protect other people around them as well. And when someone receives education, society benefits from higher productivity, innovation, and economic growth. Now, it's important not to confuse these two ideas. Public goods and merit goods are different types of problems. Public goods are non-rival and non-excludable, which means markets cannot often provide them all at all. Merit goods, on the other hand, are usually rival and excludable. Firms can sell them, but society may still end up consuming too little of them. For example, education is not a public good. Schools can charge fees and places are limited. But education is considered a merit good because it creates huge benefits for society. Now, education is one of the most important merit goods in modern economies. Think about the wider benefits education creates. It leads to higher productivity, innovation, lower crime, and greater social mobility. But families may underestimate these long-term benefits. Some families may also face credit constraints. They simply cannot afford education. Others may lack information about its value. Because of these problems, governments often intervene by providing free or subsidized schooling, making education compulsory, and regulating school quality. Without these policies, education would likely be underconsumed in a purely free market. Now, of course, government intervention isn't perfect either. Government systems can sometimes be inefficient, budgets are limited, and without competition, organizations may lack incentives to improve. There can also be political pressures that influence how resources are allocated. So economists often emphasize a key trade-off. We must balance market failure against government failure. The goal is not to eliminate markets, but to design policies that improve overall welfare. In the next lesson, we'll build on these ideas by looking at inequality and redistribution. We'll explore how governments use taxation and spending policies to influence income distribution and economic opportunity. These policies are closely connected to the problems we discussed today. Now, let's finish with the key ideas. Public goods are non-rival and non-excludable, which makes them difficult for markets to provide. The free rider problem prevents firms from charging consumers. Merit goods are underconsumed in markets even though they generate large benefits for society. Because of these problems, governments often step in through taxation, subsidies, and public provision. Understanding these ideas helps explain why even market economies rely on government to provide certain goods and services. Thank you very much.